Hello everyone. I'm just getting everything out and sorted for the next phase of the D0 Star Wars droid build. In the last part, I talked a little bit about all of the 3D printed parts that were necessary to build D0, and now I'm finally starting to collect some of the other bits and pieces. So I thought I would just kind of show what I have so far. And then after we go through this, I actually have a bunch more stuff that just showed up in the mail today, about 6 boxes worth of different bits and pieces, and I will share that as well. One of the things that's been nice about this, so far a lot of the stuff, the easy stuff like the paints and primers, I can just buy at the local Ace hardware store, and I love shopping at Ace. No endorsement there officially, but that is my favorite store for things like hardware and bits and pieces. We also have got some Gorilla Glue here. This is going to be used to put together the different parts, mostly cosmetic parts, onto D0. Also, thanks to Ace, we have a lot of 3mm screws, and we have some tiny bearings. These are going to help with the outer wheel. They're a secondary bearing. Main bearings we have for the neck and head area. There's kind of a rod that sticks up from the side of the wheel. That's what those are for. Lead shot for weight. Lots of different plastic ball bearings, and I have a couple of different sizes. These are all for operating the wheels, making those run smoothly. An Arduino Mega, an Arduino Nano, some collars that are going to go on the motors to connect up with the drive system, and then the motors themselves. These actually were purchased from a company out of Nevada, a robotics company, and they were not purchased on Amazon. I couldn't find anything on Amazon. It's a company called Primal-Bits, and one of the things that I was really impressed by was, just like Amazon, these things showed up within 2 days. I was really surprised by that, so that was great. And there are 2 drive motors here for D0. That's what I had to start with. Now I've got a whole bunch of other parts, some of them much more interesting, that have come in the mail that I'm going to go ahead and share once I clear all this away. All right, so now we have a bunch of Amazon packages that have shown up. So with the handy scissors, I'm going to go ahead and start opening these. Didn't really necessarily mean for this to be kind of an unpackaging, but I'm just finally getting a chance to go through the packages and check off what has actually arrived. All right, well, here's something really exciting. We have a couple of bags of nuts. Just standard old square nuts. You might be wondering, why would I order square nuts from Amazon? Well, interestingly enough, you can't find those at a hardware store like Ace. You can find any kind of nut or bolt other than square nuts known to humankind. For some reason, since kind of going to the hex nut, square nuts are some kind of old-fashioned thing, I guess, and I had to go to Amazon to get those. But they're very important because there are slots throughout the droid build that are going to hold the square nuts in place so that you can turn in the bolts in through the plastic and into those and out again. If you just put in a hex nut, when you spun the bolt in and you went to turn it back out, you would just spin the hex nut around in circles. So you really need to have square nuts for that. What do we have next? Okay. Well, oh. Not sure I know what these are. I know I ordered them, but what are they? Oh, okay. What we have here are a bunch of servos. There was a 5-pack of these MG90S servos. And I actually needed 3 for the project, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for the same price to only buy 3 when they do come in a 5-pack. So that's what we have there. And you need 3 of those servos to operate the head and neck of the droid so that the D0 has all of its expressiveness, the head tilts and head turns and so forth. And then here, okay, what does it say here? Okay, same with these. I needed 1, but for the price, just a little bit beyond the price of 1, I could get a whole bag full of these things, and that's the amazing thing about a lot of these parts. Actually, you know, you can buy like 1 for $10, or you can get a whole bag full for $11.95. So I thought, you know, we might have another project someday, so let's get more. And I think what we have here are the MP3 players that are going to be responsible for D0's sounds. Yeah, that's what we have. So that's basically a part of the MP3 player that we're going to use, and it's got a, you see on the back is the circuitry, on the front is the card slot for inserting the card with all of the sound files on them. So we have a whole bunch of those. I think this is another box of the 10mm ball bearings. I've actually duplicated supplies of ball bearings. I have some of them in the 3/8 size, but I also have a bunch that are in the 10mm size. Yeah, that's what these are. So these are just more of the ball bearings. The reason I have 2 sizes is because 3D printing is not really super exact. And so the little channel that I have for the ball bearings, it may work better with a smaller count of larger bearings versus a larger count of small bearings. And so I can kind of find that happy medium. I actually have an assortment of different sizes, so that gives me a little bit larger size in case that's needed. Oh, okay, well this is something important. This is a wire kit. So this has a variety of different colors of hookup wire, and I'll be making quite a few wiring harnesses throughout this project, connecting the radio gear to the Arduinos, to the servos, and other power hookups. So I'm probably going to have another one of these before everything's said and done, so that we have a good assortment of different gauge wires. And then we have, sealed for my protection, okay, this is an assortment of magnets. A lot of the parts, especially the exterior parts of the D0 Droid, are going to be held on with magnets for quick disassembly so that you can open it up, remove battery packs or pull battery pack cables, or just generally service the Droid. So we want those to be removable. Then we have another set as well, a little bit larger size. You know, one of the things I've always wondered about is how does Amazon figure out what size box to use or when to use an envelope? I've gotten some really heavy, fairly fragile items in envelopes, or plastic bags. And then I'll get the tiniest little thing in a heavy-duty cardboard box, and I haven't quite figured out their thinking on that. And this is probably one of those times, just like the last box. We have a box full of packing material. And first thing off, more magnets. And bag full of rocker switches. You can buy one switch or you can buy 5 switches, and it's 20% more to buy the whole bag of 5. So this is not going to be the last project. So that's, again, we're buying in quantity. All right, these are a set of connectors that are designed to serial connect the lithium-ion batteries. So then a whole big cardboard box for that. Okay, well, we've got a few balloons in here. Okay, we have boxes in boxes. See, I believe these are going to be the batteries. So these are, yes, these are the batteries. So the Droid is actually going to be powered by 2 of these. These are 2200 milliamp hours, and I believe that they're 7.4 volt battery packs. And we already have a balanced charger for that. And then we have a second one of those. Project's going to require 2. And we have stuff. All right, what do we have? All right, I actually had to stop and look up what this was. This is actually the accelerometer and gyroscope module that we need for the project. And again, I ended up with a bag full of these, so. Okay, I know what these are without having to go back and look at my order sheet. This is the power module that we're going to need to take the supply from the lithium-ion batteries and their combined supply voltage and step that down to 3 or to 5 volts for the Arduino and the radio receiver and some of those other items. So basically it's just a kind of a power converter module to get the 5 volts that we're going to need. Okay. More servos. This is the larger servo. This was another one of the situations where it was actually just way cheaper to buy the multi-pack of 4 than just one. So I think it was like $8.95 for one, and I don't know, $10.95 for a whole box full. So that's what we did. Last but not least, in this box, which is very well sealed. In fact, I'm going to go off the side of the camera here really quick and. Oh, okay, great. This is the connector kit. So I'm going to have to make a lot of DuPont connectors, and you might remember that I had that wire kit earlier with all the different wires. This is a set of connectors so that I can make any number of size different plugs or connectors to attach all the different parts of the DO together so that we don't have to have everything permanently connected. And that's especially good if we're going to ever be able to work on it. If anything ever goes wrong, we can get it apart, easily disassemble everything. Finally, we have this plastic bag, which feels like it's got a couple of heavy items in it. Why a bag? Why did we go from bags to boxes and boxes to bags? I don't understand, Amazon. Help me understand here. There's our other gauge of hookup wire that I was talking about earlier. Okay. This actually is the radio and receiver that we're going to use. We're just a really inexpensive radio and receiver, but it does allow you to go ahead and mix the servo control a little bit so that you can combine different, I guess, series of actions. This, I think, will work really good. I know other people have used this particular radio for this project, so we'll see how that works. So we'll stick that back here, and that is pretty much what we have so far, in addition to what we just looked at for the project. So as much as it seems like you just 3D print this thing out, if you want this to be a working droid, you've got a long ways to go and a lot of parts to get. So more on it as things go on, and we start to sand, paint, put things together. I'll continue to post and show you the progress. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.